welcome, cinephiles, tender hearts, and of course, the devoted whispers of Turkish Star's family. Every so often, the film world experiences a rare alignment, when two constellations don't just sparkle on a poster but ignite on a set. We talk all the time about the border between performance and life, about how a role slips off at rap and a human being reappears, yet sometimes the two refuse to part. Today, the Turkish celebrity universe isn't whispering. It's roaring the names of two people who have redrawn the map of what a power couple can be, Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda. And no, this isn't about a beach snapshot or an idol rumor. What's unfolding is the artistic crowning of their partnership. Their new film hasn't arrived as another Friday release, it's crashed into theaters like a social phenomenon, swarming timelines and leaving critics speechless. What looked like another love story has turned into a soul-reflecting prism, stuffed with surprises, unscripted sparks that tested the director's pulse, and an emotional density nobody thought they'd dare. Before we climb into this work's machinery and reveal what really happened in the shadows of the set, hit subscribe and ring that bell, because here we don't just report, we narrate. And if you want access to intimate reviews, live breakdowns, and what might be next for Cemre and Gökberk, the join button is your entrance to the whispers of Turkish Star's VIP box. Your support keeps this beacon burning. Are you ready to peel back the magic? Action! From the moment a blurry code name leaked weeks ahead of the official poster, curiosity didn't just simmer, it exploded worldwide. The question crackling through group chats was obvious. Could they transfer that lightning bottle chemistry to the silver screen? Fans accustomed to the rhythms of TV rom-coms probably expected a breezy confection, pretty frames to enjoy between chores. But the film's true bombshell was not simply seeing Gökberk and Cemre together, it was discovering who they chose to inhabit. Forget the hand-me-down tropes. As the story advances, you tumble into a psychological maze with walls that cut deep. These people aren't sketches. They're cracked vessels molded by old wounds, with beliefs and needs that collide, fuse, and tear apart in ways that feel alarmingly true. Critics have reached rare consensus on Gökberk Yildirim's transformation. He externalizes an interior storm with a whisper-soft precision, employing silence and the flicker of a glance as blades sharper than dialogue. Across from him, Cemre Arda vanishes into a woman who was at once citadel and cracked glass on the brink of scatter. That paradox. A diamond shell holding a heartbeat near breaking lifts the entire piece to a higher plane. A quick pause to ask you something that matters. Do you prefer seeing Cemre and Gökberk in playful comedies that warm the weekend, or in raw dramas that shake the core and wring tears? Your voice steers the industry, so tell me below. And yes, I read the comments from our newest members first. But the secret ingredient that makes the film throb with sincerity wasn't typed into any draft. Insiders whisper that the shocks weren't confined to the plot. There were moments when life stampeded into fiction so brazenly that the director froze, hand-hovering, unable to call cut. We're talking improvisation, the kind that isn't planned, isn't expected, and can't be reheated. Word from the crew is firm, several of the sequences now branded as iconic didn't sprout from the keyboard. They bloomed in the moment, sparked by the give and take between Gökberk and Cemre. Imagine the trust, the faith required to detour from the page and know, without a glance, that your partner will follow, catch, and return you. Those improvised pulses, say the experts, are the film's heartbeat. When you watch them clash, crack up, or shatter on screen, ask yourself, are they performing, or excavating years of shared language no script could teach? That shimmering blur between truth and fiction is what vaulted this project into phenomenon status. The premiere wasn't a mere screening. It felt like a crowning. On opening night, Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda took the carpet side by side, fingers laced, casting a warm glow that outshone the storm of flashes. It wasn't only the polish, her silhouette rewriting red carpet codes, his unfussy charisma gliding through cameras, what held the crowd was the quiet conversation inside their eyes. When the press pounced, they didn't hide behind can lines. They let the world see more. They hinted that the shoot had deepened their connection, widening their understanding of each other not just as partners, but as artists. Then came the sentence that detonated across headlines. Gökberk, steady and unguarded, offered, working with Cemre on the same set has enriched me in ways that go beyond craft, it's changed me as a person. Listen close, he didn't say she's a fine colleague. He pointed to the human beneath the reputation, acknowledging that she expands his very sense of self. What compliment reaches higher than that? Cemre Arda added a confession that quieted the room. She said she didn't accept the role for the paycheck or the spotlight, but because the story stirred something private and persistent. And here's the detail that near broke everyone's composure: in certain scenes, the tears you saw weren't glycerin, weren't a technique. They were hers. She couldn't dam them up in those pivotal beats, and the director chose to keep those takes because there's a texture to truth that no rehearsal can fake. The audience felt it crawl across the skin. Without spilling the ending, I'll say only this: during the final sequence, a wave began row by row, the theater rose. The applause stretched on, not just for the film as a whole, but as a salute to Cemre's fragility and the sheer courage it takes to open your chest to a lens. And the shockwaves didn't stop when the credits ended. In the days after release, social platforms flooded with lines snatched from the film. One particular piece of dialogue from Gökberk's character seems to bottle his entire emotional climate. It's been reposted into everyday captions and whispers. Meanwhile, shots of Cemre's eyes, those still moments where she speaks without sound, mutated into a language of their own, a meme of longing and ache used by couples and poets alike. But what about them off-screen? There was anxiety that the compression of hours, the fatigue and heat of a long shoot together, might strain their love. Reality told a different story. Crew sources swear they kept steel-like discipline and never forgot to be each other's shelter between takes. If one faltered, the other steadied. Far from pulling them apart, the months of focused creation seemed to have braided them tighter. People close to the production say the time they carved out from the noise, the solitude of building something side by side, served not as an ordeal but as a rare chance to reinforce what already existed. The reviews have landed with weight. Words like natural, magnetic, and unforgettable appear again and again. So now we ask the only question that matters: is this a closing chapter or a prologue? Whispers in the industry already say we may see Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda sharing frames again sooner than anyone thinks. Producers know when lightning strikes, and this looks like a field of gold. In sum, this film has migrated from project to landmark in the starry chronicles of Turkish fame. Together, they've shown that when genuine love is poured through talent, it can crystallize into something that lives beyond opening weekend. Here at Whispers of Turkish Stars, we will track every step, every sequel murmur, every carpet where their footsteps echo. Because where Cemre and Gökberk go, the story follows. Have you watched it yet? Which moment knocked the air out of you? Drop the scene that stayed with you in the comments. If this deep dive moved you, tap like, send the video to every Göksum fan you know, and please join our inner circle by clicking join. Your support keeps this channel dreaming forward, keeps the lights warm, and makes it possible for us to bring you closer to the people and stories you love. And if you're still here, turn this into a conversation. What did the film teach you about how two people carry each other? Did the improvisations feel like accidents or destiny? Did you catch the split second where a smile dies in Gökberk's eyes, or the moment Cemre's jaw tightens like a shield? Rewatch those frames and look again. The microbeats, the breath held for one count too long, the touch that lands a half-inch higher than anyone planned, those are the fingerprints of two artists who trust one another even in the silence. That's the real headline, the one no tabloid can carve down: belief. The belief that someone will meet you halfway, that the truth you risk will be caught, that what you build together will outlast the noise. So yes, expect more rumors, louder speculation, careful denials, and then the inevitable ripple that follows when art refuses to sit quietly. Expect producers calling, directors revising scripts to fit their cadence, brands chasing the afterglow, theaters adding late shows to meet the demand. Expect think pieces about how a partnership like this changes casting conversations. Expect actors on other sets emboldened to try, just once, to hold a moment instead of cutting it, to let the silence do the heavy lifting. Expect young fans who feel seen for the first time, and older ones who remember what it cost to stay open. Expect arguments about whose performance was the spine and whose was the blood, and then realize you cannot separate one from the other without losing the pulse. Because in that dim space between an actor's inhale and the director's cut, there's a fragile country where stories become real. Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda built a home there for 2 hours, invited us in, and left a light on. We walked out changed. And that, more than any headline, is why this is not just about a couple or even a movie. It's about how two people, bravely, chose to meet the truth halfway and let the camera witness the rest. Stick with Whispers of Turkish Stars. The next chapter is already writing itself, and when it lands, you'll hear it here first.